Hi, my name is Michelle.
Hi.
Thank you for coming in today.
Yeah.
What's your name?
My name's Alex.
Alex. Nice to meet you, Alex.
You too.
So what were you here to talk about today?
Well, I just kind of wanted to talk today about, I just moved down here to start a grad school program, and so it's just been a lot of change and a lot of transition and a lot of things to have to adjust to, and I'm not very good at change, so just kind of walking through that process and working through that.
Okay, so where did you live before you came here?
I lived in Ventura, California. It's only like an hour and a half north. Yeah, so it's not too far.
Okay, so the change that you're specifically talking about moving here, is it like a physical change, like of actually bringing your stuff here? Is it change in relationships? I mean, did you leave some relationships, letting go?
Yeah, well, kind of all of it. It's definitely been a physical change, and I have lived in this area before. I did my undergrad at the same school that I am going to graduate school for, and so I think that's probably part of it, is that in my mind this area has a lot of like positive memories, and I had a lot of those friendships and a lot of those relationships, and so I think it's kind of funny being back here without those people. So that's what I associate this place with. And then there were also a lot of friends in Ventura that I not left behind, that sounds dramatic, but you know, I moved away from, so not living in the same place as them. And then my boyfriend lives here, and it's the first time that we've lived in the same city, and we've been dating for like a year and a half, and so I think that also has been a big part of it, of just adjusting to that and, you know, figuring out what that looks like to live in the same place, because we've never done that.
So how is he feeling? Have you talked to him about how you're feeling, and maybe asked him how he's feeling about the change?
Yeah, he feels it's easier for him, because he moved here like a couple weeks after I left. So he's been in this area for the last a long time, like a year and a half. And so I think for him it's more just exciting, because it's normal for him to be here, but then now it's like I'm here too. And he's just better at adapting to change anyway, and so I think it's a lot more change for me, and it's a lot harder for me to adjust to it.
Well, change can be difficult for anyone, and you know, especially he's already had time to adapt and time to change and accept it. And it's is it affecting any of your other relationships, friendships, or how do you feel like you are dealing with those changes?
I feel like that it's okay. It's harder, you know, like having a long distance friendship is a lot harder. You can't like hang out on the phone. But I think one of the difficult things for me has been, I realized that I found like a lot of identity in those friendships, and it's weird not having them here. You know, like obviously I still have those people as friends, but it's kind of less tangible, I guess is the way to say it. And so there's this like new insecurity that has come up in myself, or that I've discovered, I guess, of just realizing like I'm nervous to put like too much into him, and like to need him too much, or I don't know.
And so do you think the insecurity is coming up because you're trying to adapt to the changes, or because you're realizing how much the relationships at home affected you and had an effect on you? What do you think? Where's the insecurity coming from?
Well, I think the insecurity is coming from a previous dating relationship that I had, where my ex-boyfriend was just very like isolating, and so he would like make me feel bad if I like wanted to hang out with someone else, or if I needed to like have time with friends, because he would feel like, well, why am I not enough for you? And so I think that that was really hard. And so coming out of that, and now being in this new relationship, and just figuring out like how much I can meet someone before it's unhealthy, because my relationship before was so unhealthy, and I like vowed I would never have anything like that again, and so I think that has just made it hard. I didn't realize that I felt that way, or I didn't realize that that was something that had like stuck with me until these last couple weeks of moving here and feeling like my current boyfriend was like the only person that I really knew here besides my roommates. And so I think that it brought it up, and it was something I never thought about. So having to deal with it now was kind of overwhelming at first.
Okay, so I'm hearing that you're dealing with your insecurity that's coming from a previous relationship, and also adding to it is the stress of moving and the stress of change. And you said that it was difficult coming about the insecurity, right? Realizing that you even had it. How did that happen? How did you come to realize it?
Well, through a lot of tears. I cried, I don't know, a lot. And I didn't really even know what the problem was. I felt bad because I kind of put my boyfriend in like a no-win situation. He was like trying to help, but I'm like, I don't know what's wrong, but I'm crying. You know, it was just, I was like kind of a hot mess. So, I don't know, I prayed about it a lot. I really prayed for like clarity, and then I love journaling, like I love to write, and so I think that was another big way that I tried to like figure out, like I just tried to write down like any thought I had, or what I was feeling, or what happened right before I started crying, or, you know, trying to figure out if there was like triggers, or, because I had no idea. And so it took a few days, probably about a week of this, and then I don't know, I think I started writing about my past relationship, and that's when it kind of dawned on me that like that's how it was before, and I'm nervous about having that again.
Right. So you mentioned a few positive coping skills that you have. You said you rely on your faith and prayer to help you through, to seek clarity. And you also mentioned journaling. So is this something that you do often, any of those, praying or journaling?
Yeah, I mean, I don't pray as much as I should, but yeah, I mean, I have been journaling since like 6th grade, or I don't know exactly, but for as long as I can remember. And that's always been a way for me to process things, because I'm very like overly analytical, and so I tend to have so many thoughts and so many feelings, and so to be able to write them all down and see like, okay, this is what I was thinking, and like this is valid or this is not valid, or like that's a negative thought, or, and it just kind of gives me more clarity, I think, about what I'm actually thinking, and if I write about something more than something else, like putting more thought into that, or like giving more weight to that. So it's been something for, I don't even know, like 10 years now, I guess, that has really helped me kind of sort through life.
Okay, and so it sounds like that's really working for you. It sounds like it's something you're almost pro at. writing your feelings out, which is really good. What about, have you thought of any other coping skills that you might be able to use when you're encountering change, encountering a little bit of stress that comes along with the change, a little bit of insecurity? Is there anything else that you might be able to think of that might be able to help you through?
I don't know. I'm really not very good at change. Like, it takes me a while to adapt to it. So, and I think a lot of it is just kind of time, and like being gracious with myself, with giving myself time. You know, I think I tend to have really high expectations, and so I like when those expectations aren't met in the first like 2 weeks of me of doing something new, then I feel like, oh, you know, it like brings all these thoughts of like, you know, just insecurity or like failure or that kind of thing. And so I think another thing that has kind of happened through journaling is like when I write that down, I'm able to look at it and see like, okay, I've been here less than a month. Like it's probably not very realistic to expect that I'm gonna have like made all these best friends by now. You know, like that kind of thing where it's like that's how I feel, but to be able to look back on it and say like that's an unrealistic thing to expect to have happened by now.
Yeah, and being aware of that is even a coping skill, being aware that it's going to take time, it's not going to happen overnight, and being aware that how you yourself are going to encounter the change and encounter the difficulties and the insecurities. Yeah. So how do you think that you might be able to better the relationship between you and your boyfriend, knowing that there's this insecurity underneath?
Yeah, well, he's the best. I mean, we've like talked about it a lot, and he's really understanding and really gracious with all of my tears, and just like listens well, and he knows like a lot. There was a lot of other things that happened with this ex-boyfriend, so he is like very understanding about that. But I think he keeps saying like the biggest thing I need from you is to just like keep talking to me. You know, like even if you feel like we've talked about this 10 times already, or if you feel like it's like too much, you know, like he just wants me to keep talking to him about it, which I do sometimes feel that way, you know, like it is too much, or we have already talked about it so many times, and he doesn't want to hear about it again. So it was really comforting for me to have him say like, no, I do care, like I do want to keep hearing about it. So I think that will be good.
Yeah, and communicating can work as a coping skill as well. If you're feeling these things and you're able to communicate them to him, that in itself might work as a coping mechanism to be able to get it off your chest, and a weight has been lifted, so they say. Yeah. So that might be beneficial as well to not only the relationship, but also to you as an individual. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and give you these homework assignments of going ahead and trying some of these coping skills out, communicating and journaling, continue to journal, and also continue with your faith. Maybe find a church or maybe a faith group that you can belong to here in the new area. That way you can build friendships off of that. What do you think about that idea? How does that sound to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I've been looking for since I've been here. When I lived here before, I never really found it. I mean, I would go to one church for a couple months, and then I would go to a different one. Like, I never really found a home church, or like got really invested in one church, and so that's something that I feel pretty passionately about finding now. And so I've been going to a few different ones and just kind of trying to find the best one. But I gave myself, like, you have like a month and a half, and then you just gotta pick one, and you know, because I feel like the sooner I pick one, the sooner I can start like investing there and getting to meet people and build those relationships.
So how long do you plan on staying in this area, if I can ask you?
Well, it's at least 2 years, because that's how long my program is, and then I don't know from there. I honestly have no idea.
Do you feel like 2 years is a good amount of time to build a home and build a church home and friendships?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I do. I think it's definitely, I am doing it as like a season, and in the grand scheme of life, it's a shorter season, but I think it is possible, and I think that is something that if I don't at least try, then I'm definitely not going to have those relationships, so I want to at least pursue it.
So that sounds like a good idea to you then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, with those assignments, I hope that you're able to use them and do well with them, and think about them, let them stir inside for a while, and then come back. I hope you come back next week, and we can explore from there and see exactly how we're going to go about doing all these positive changes in your life.
Okay, great. Thank you
for your time. Thank you.